Welcome to Honey Radio. You are listening to episode 6 of the Horror Honeys podcast. And today I have with me several honeys who I will introduce in just a moment. But first I want to thank our sponsors. We always have to thank Bee Nectar Meadery and Scandal Brewing for helping us get this podcast off the ground. We love you guys. So to introduce the honeys, they are here with me. I have the Revenge Honey Linny.
Hi.
I have Monster Honey Danica.
Oh, hi.
I have the Hardcover Honey Jocelyn.
Hello.
And Supernatural Honey Suzanne.
Hello.
Awesome. And we are expecting at least one more guest, but she might add on a little bit later, but that's okay. So you have joined us tonight to talk about the big night for film. We are here to talk about the Oscars. Hooray, golf claps. Yay.
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 Chinese Christmas.
Linny loves the Oscars, so we have a bona fide Oscar nerd in the house, which is awesome.
Woo.
But we're not here to just talk about the Oscars. We're here to talk about horror on the red carpet. And horror movies get kind of a bad rap, and people get kind of butthurt about how often horror movies are overlooked when it comes to the Academies. But we made up a list that shows that they really haven't been ignored over the years. And we've actually done pretty well as far as a genre in the fact that being recognized by the Academy is kind of a big deal because these are some stuck-up assholes. So it's nice to see that horror movies are getting recognition, you know, even if it's not the recognition that we think we deserve, it's still there and they still know that horror's around. So where horror starts to be recognized is in 1960 with the release of Psycho. So Psycho got 4 nominations, but failed to win the Best Picture that it was that people thought it so richly deserved. Now, I want to know what you guys think about Psycho and its appearance in the 60s at the Oscars. Does anybody want to weigh in?
The Revenge Honey can.
Please do.
It's interesting to me that people look at Psycho as the original horror film at the Oscars because from where I stand, it really wasn't the first. If you look as far back as Rebecca, which is another Hitchcock film, and I believe kind of a horror story, it's there. There is recognition for horror pretty far back. But in terms of Psycho, I really... What movie did it lose to that year? Does anyone know that off the top of their head?
It doesn't... I don't have it here.
It's...
Furious typing. Let's find out.
Yeah. It's so helpful. The Apartment beat it for Best Picture, which... It's a good movie, but it doesn't have the same staying power that Psycho had. And I think the real travesty in terms of Oscars and horror is that Alfred Hitchcock never won an Oscar, despite all of his excellent work. So, the movie got recognized, but at the same time, it's just remarkable to me that the person that's responsible for it was so shut out year after year. But yeah, I think it's also important to remember that Psycho isn't necessarily the first movie that was a horror film during award season.
Oh no, of course not.
But I mean, I love The Apartment. I can't really trash talk it because Shirley MacLaine is a badass bitch and I love her. But yeah, that's one year that they definitely got it wrong, and they've gotten it wrong plenty. So if you get me started bad-mouthing Traffic, I will entire episode. But yeah, I think that was definitely a year that the Academy was being a little snooty about horror.
Well, I think that's the job of the Academy, is to be snooty.
They have their moments. That's the whole point of why they started this whole 10 Best Picture thing, and instead it's just turned out to be a bigger disaster. than anything, because then you have movies that are just getting that much more overlooked. This year has been, I'm really irritated about this year. This is the first year I haven't been excited about the Oscars, and I don't know how long.
We'll get to this year. It'll happen.
Huh?
We'll get to this year.
Yeah. So anyway, Psycho. Yeah. Woo, Psycho.
Does anybody else want to say anything about Psycho? No? Okay, one little trivia tidbit that I love about Psycho, which I think is also amazing that not many people know about, is that it was the first film to ever show a toilet flushing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And they wanted to cut it. The editors wanted to cut it out because it was totally vulgar and totally gross. But Hitchcock was adamant that it stayed in because it was integral to the scene to show that she was flushing away the note that she made. I just thought that was funny. That's a fun little bit of trivia.
That's why he was brilliant. That man knew his shit, literally and figuratively.
All right, we're going to move to 1962, and I'm going to let Linny and Suzanne talk about this one.
It's actually 63.
Oh, sorry, 1963.
Close enough, though. Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, which, again, a lot of people would probably not view as a horror movie, but to me, it's one of the most terrifying movies ever made. You've got the torture, the abuse, the terrifying Betty Davis character that still haunts my dreams. No matter how many times I've seen that movie, I think it's beautiful and awful and wonderful, and it was nominated for five, I think I said, Oscars. So, again, it all depends how you frame the idea of horror. I mean, if you look at it as simply blood and guts and torture, then maybe you wouldn't see these movies as being part of award season, but...
Well, it's definitely, I think it definitely falls under, psychological thriller if horror doesn't really, float your boat, but...
Yeah, I mean, you can look at these sci-fi horror, like Alien, or, anything like that. I mean, there are always subheadings to a lot of these movies. But for me, if a movie scares you and puts you on edge and makes your skin crawl, then it qualifies as horror. And I think that anyone that says Whatever Happened to Baby Jane didn't make them completely terrified is full of shit. Because they be some scary-ass bitches in that movie.
But you are in that chair, Blanche. You're up in that chair. Sorry, I had to.
Things that are only funny to people that have seen the movie.
I was going to break into my rendition of I'm writing a letter to Daddy, but I didn't want to. Sorry.
Now you have to. You brought it up.
I don't want to overwhelm the listeners with my talent.
Yeah, so if you have not seen Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, go out right now and watch the crap out of that movie. And then watch Mommy Dearest after. And that is a shitload of horror that most people would not qualify as horror. So.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to skip ahead to 1972, where Deliverance was nominated for some awards that no one thought it should win, and it actually didn't win. But the fact that it was nominated is pretty awesome anyway. So Deliverance was nominated for Best Picture, lost to The Godfather, nominated for Best Director and Best Editing, which Cabaret took both of, and I have to say I'm not mad about that.
No, that movie's awesome. And oddly enough, scares the shit out of me. Joel Grey terrifies me, and I'm not
He's
sure.
He's so fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, Joel Grey is terrifying.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
He's a tiny, tiny man. Therefore, he's scary.
It's the Elijah Wood thing. Elijah Wood. Tiny people.
When we come back to Elijah Wood, it always comes back to the pod people.
People have to know how scary he is.
We might as well not even go any further because you've just now that you've brought up Elijah Wood, it's done. We've come full circle in 5 minutes.
Pushing ahead. 1973 is the year of The Exorcist. It was nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, Best Cinematography, Best Editing, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, and Best Art Direction. But among many others, and only took home the prize for adapted screenplay and best sound.
Wow.
And that's where it gets harsh. This is where I think horror movies started getting into being nominated because they're amazing, and the Academy recognizes that they're a significant part of cinema history and cinema, important to cinema. And then they're like, but you know what? We really can't make a horror movie the best picture. Just good. Let's give them some other stuff. You know, and they usually end up in the realm of best makeup and best sound and best editing.
Consolation prizes.
Yeah, I'm curious what you guys think about that.
I think a lot of the problem with movies like The Exorcist that, you know, now, well, even now, I think it's pretty intense, but you always have the old guard voting on the Academy, and people over the age of 60 even have a really hard time with those movies. Some of them refuse to even watch horror movies or anything that even hints at horror, and they're always going to go for the historical epics, the underdog dramas, the movies that seem classic to them. And that's, every year I think that's a problem, where you have movies that are not that great, like this year, still getting nominated because a certain generation of people will always be in the Academy that are probably not going to support horror.
Yeah, of course.
Well, it's especially sad with The Exorcist because, you know, taking the horror element out of it, it's just a fucking brilliant movie. I mean,
absolutely.
It's from the source material to the acting to the special effects, everything. It's just there's virtually nothing wrong with that film. I'm sure people out there disagree with me, but I mean, it's just a really, really brilliant film.
Yeah, I agree. It's my favorite horror movie. It will continue to be my favorite horror movie forever.
I might need to rewatch it because I haven't seen it in years.
Oh, you definitely do.
Yeah, it's one of the first ones I saw. It's still, like, even now, it still scares the shit out of me. Like, totally unnerving.
I think I've watched it enough at this point where it doesn't actually scare me anymore, but I'm still fascinated by it every time I watch it, and there are still certain scenes that you just kind of get that really tense, creepy feeling, and it's, I don't know, I can't say anything bad about it.
I'm in the same boat as you, Suzanne. It's one of those things that it doesn't matter how many times I watch it, I still can't put it on in the background and go do other shit. I have to sit down and watch every fucking minute.
Plus, after a couple years ago, when I was in Georgetown and I actually got to walk up and down the stairs and see the house, I was, you know, now that opening shot of the film, you know, where you see the stairs, it's like, I was right there. I walked up the stairs because I'm a nerd.
That would be awesome. That would definitely be on my list if I ever got to DC.
Oh yeah.
I think isn't it based on I believe it's based on a case in St. Louis, if I'm not mistaken. And so which is where I grew up, and so when I remember when I was in high school driving around and like, this is the church where, I mean, you know, the stories that you tell each other.
Yeah, it was based on the story of a possession of a little boy, actually, not a girl. All right, we're gonna move on. I'm going to skim quickly for just a second here. 1974, Young Frankenstein, which isn't a horror movie, it's a horror-based comedy, was nominated for Best Screenplay, lost to The Godfather, and nominated for Best Sound, which lost to a film called Earthquake, which I've never heard of, but I guess earthquakes need good noise.
Wow.
I think Earthquake is one of those big disaster movies like The Towering Inferno or something like that, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I remember watching it with my dad when I was little.
Okay, and has anybody seen Phantom of the Paradise?
Yes.
That was nominated for Best Musical Adaptation, which is not a category that exists anymore, but still means something. Now, somebody sent me a clip of this a little while ago, and I think my exact response was, "What the fuck did you send me?"
Legit. I took a class in college on award-winning films, so a lot of these that I've seen have been for that reason. I would have watched otherwise.
That makes me feel better.
It's not something that I sat down and was like, sweet, yeah. And maybe slept through the class. There's no telling.
All right, 1975, Jaws wins for Best Sound, Best Editing, and Best Score, but loses its Best Picture nomination to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which, again, not mad about. But, again, this was really close to having a horror film win for Best Picture. And to have it be Jaws, that's actually kind of rad.
Yeah.
Jaws is great.
Jaws is awesome.
I still can't swim the ocean. That's a totally true story. I will not go in above my knees.
I can understand that.
I think Jaws is, for me, I love The Exorcist too. I think nothing is wrong with it. I feel the same way about Jaws, except Jaws I feel like I could watch once a week the rest of my life.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I just love it. I feel like the relationship between him and his wife, Brody and his wife, is one of the best I've ever felt, the most real I've ever seen on screen. I love their relationship. I love that movie.
now, Danica, isn't your backyard pool Jaws themed?
Yes. Yeah.
No way. That's awesome.
Yeah. We bought the house 2.5 years ago, and we wanted a pool. Didn't think we could get one, but we did, and so that was the first plan that we had, was to turn it into a Jaws theme. We made like the no swimming sign. Mm-hmm. So that's like staked in the ground in one of the planters, and then we made like a miniature version of the billboard. That's up on the fence.
Why did I not see this when I was there? Damn it.
And then I've strung like netting. It looks like fish netting along the back fence. Yeah.
Can we please do a post with pictures of this so I can see it?
I think that's appropriate.
I do. I actually posted them on Twitter a long time ago, but it's been a long time. And then just this past, the end of the summer, actually, we got a projector and we did a backyard screening of it. So, yeah, that's how much I love Jaws.
And that's why you're our monster, honey.
And there's an interesting comparison, which I guess I'll talk about, with one of the films that was nominated from this year to Jaws. I guess we could talk about that when we get there. But.
Yes, we can do that, definitely. Okay, but we're going to move on. So 1976 was the year of Carrie. Unfortunately, lovely Sissy Spacek didn't win her actress nomination. Yeah, she lost to Faye Dunaway, though, so at least she lost to another kind of horror movie lady, so that's kind of okay. But not really. That was really the only one. Actually, no. Nomination for Piper Laurie. But who she also lost as well to someone from the same movie that Faye Dunaway was from that year, from Network. So it's sad, and I mean that was an amazing film for performances, and I'm really, really happy to see that Sissy did get a nomination for it, because that was fucking spectacular.
Yeah.
Well, Piper Laurie's character scares the crap out of me still. The movie itself doesn't really scare me, but Mrs. White scares the shit out of me.
Yeah. I definitely agree. 1977, we get into sci-fi and Hollywood's new obsession with science fiction movies. So Close Encounters of the Third Kind won for cinematography and has a special award for sound effects editing. But it was also nominated for Best Actress for Melinda Dillon, Best Art Dec, Best Effects, Best Makeup, and Best Director Steven Spielberg. So I kind of see a trend with Spielberg in general. He usually, if he touches it, they're like, oh, Oscar, oh God.
Yeah, they can't control themselves.
And no, it's short screaming time as soon as he's mentioned.
Yeah, some of his movies that have been nominated that shouldn't have been.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they just pretty much, they see he puts a movie out and they're like, fuck it, just nominate him.
True.
God, you hate the Spielberg.
I actually hate George Lucas, but I think when it comes
Everybody hates George Lucas.
Oh my god, you guys.
George Lucas hates George Lucas.
as he should, bastard. But I think Spielberg has been turned into a saint by Hollywood, and he's done some great movies, but it's not like I don't feel like I watch Spielberg movies and I know that it's him. It's like with Wes Anderson, you can plop down in the middle of any Wes Anderson movie and you know that he made it. I don't feel like there's anything definitive about Spielberg's work other than
Jaws.
No. There's usually an absent father figure.
Yeah, and that Spielbergian ending. There's a Spielbergian ending that I've seen quoted before, and he has no idea how to write relationships, which is why I'm stunned.
Those aren't good things, though.
That's why I'm stunned that it worked in Jaws. That the relationship actually worked. But I think that was more due to the actors than anything.
And he had source material.
That's
I feel like when he's not working off, like Zack Snyder, I always thought was an amazing director as long as he had source material, but he kind of proved me wrong with Superman. So now at all.
We should do a Zack Snyder. That deserves its own discussion, I think.
That's fair. Yeah.
I agree with you.
No, I feel
Zack
like
Snyder?
Spielberg movies are, some of them are really good and some of them are just so utterly not. But I don't know. He's so hit and miss, and I feel like he is a deity in Hollywood, and there are other directors that are so much more distinctive and meticulous than he is, and not so obsessed with aliens.
Well, I think at this point, it's like every movie has to be an epic, and not every movie has to be epic.
Yeah. I think that's part of the problem. You know, he's been built up so much. He feels like every movie that he does has to be this amazing, like, kind of movie. Like, everything gets blown out, everything gets blown up, and it has to be this amazing, beautiful thing. It's like he needs to win an Oscar every time.
Like, as a play, Warhorse was just so beautiful, and with the puppetry and everything, I mean, it was understated too, and that's what I thought made the play so good. And I refused to see the movie because it's all explosions and sad, weepy main characters and little boys without fathers chasing after something to represent their lost relationship. And I don't know. I don't. There's some I implicitly trust Wes Anderson. I will see anything he puts out because I know I will love it.
I like David Fincher.
Yeah, also David Fincher's amazing. David Lynch, I will see anything he makes, even though it's not always fabulous. It's still distinctly him. Like, you know when you're watching a David Lynch movie. And I don't know. I just never thought, especially since AI, that Spielberg is all he's cracked up to be.
AI was a bucket of shit.
It was.
Okay, has anybody seen Midnight Express?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to be saying yes to all these
That's
questions.
fine. Okay, so Midnight Express was apparently all over the Oscars in 1978. Can you comment on Midnight Express? Because I haven't seen it.
It's an Oscar movie. I mean, it's I don't know. It's hard to quantify what makes them pay attention to one movie over another, except, you know, campaigning wasn't as bad back then as it is now. So I don't think that factored in as much, but I don't know. I collect Oscar movies. Like, I'm in love with everything Oscar. And Midnight Express was a movie about an American student caught smuggling drugs and put in prison, and it's epic and beautiful and Oscar-y. And
I mean, honestly, being put in jail for smuggling drugs is really scary.
Oh, I'm sure.
That would be fucking terrifying.
After what happened on my little road trip back east, I had no interest in being involved with the police ever again. But I don't. That particular year, I don't. What else was nominated that year?
The Swarm for costume design, Lost to Death on the Nile.
I was thinking in terms of Best Picture. I'm looking.
I don't know. I don't know.
'Cause I don't remember what
I'm
else.
focused on horror right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to remember.
Was nominated for costume design. Now, are these the costumes on the bees, or
See, there are other movies that year that I think were actually better than Midnight Express. So, oh wait, Deer Hunter won that year.
Oh, there you go.
oh
Yeah, so the Deer Hunter was really good. Heaven Can Wait, kind of cutesy. I'm not a huge Warren Beatty fan, but I mean, there were a lot of Vietnam movies that year.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, so I don't know. War is also a big thing with Oscars.
Yes, they
They
love
their
movies.
war movies.
I think that's a very American thing too, though. You know, it's all about. And I'm sorry, you guys. I know it's all of it.
it's true.
I'm sorry. I don't understand you people.
It's all right. We don't understand you either.
I know. Okay, 1979, Alien. I don't think people are ready for Alien. It won Best Visual Effects, but lost art direction to a Bob Fosse picture.
Mm.
A new jazz hands right now.
I know, right? What? So the Amityville Horror was also nominated for Best Score, but lost out to a romance film. But that's
Which
okay.
movie?
A Little Romance.
Oh, I thought you said a romance film. Huh.
Yeah. So we were nominated, but not anything major. I'm really surprised that Alien didn't get more as far as nominations go. But again, I honestly don't think that people are ready for it.
That was a big year, though, because Sigourney was
Oh yeah.
nominated.
She doesn't get nominated until 86.
Aliens.
Aliens.
She got nominated for the second one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. 1980, Altered States was nominated for Best Sound, but it lost to Star Wars because Star Wars. It was also nominated for Best Score, but lost to Fame, which makes me want to puke.
Oh boy.
Wow.
That's okay. 1981 was awesome, mostly because I'm a makeup artist. Rick Baker got his first nomination, first win for Best Makeup for American Werewolf in London. To be fair, his competition was a movie called Heart Beeps.
Wow.
That sounds super lame.
I know, but the makeup was done by Stan Winston, and I have a special place in my gooey heart for Stan Winston, so that's okay. But yeah, so the Rick Baker werewolf transformation, American Werewolf in London, is a horror movie staple. If you ask anybody what their favorite makeup effect in horror movies is, inevitably someone is going to say American Werewolf in London. Danique, I know that you love this movie. Do you want to talk about it a little bit?
I do. This is in my top 3, if not my first. I just think it's an absolutely perfect movie. I love horror comedies. I love that the comedy wasn't totally overdone, but I love the music selections. There's so many songs that have to do with the moon. The transformation has never been outdone, never even come close from any film. I just love it.
Well, I think the fact that it hasn't been outdone is a real credit to Rick Baker. I mean, especially with all of the CGI that's so prevalent now, and they haven't been able to top it.
Yeah.
And everything just looks kind of fake and weird. And I mean, I honestly think that Rick Baker's a bit too fond of using balloons underneath the skin to make things go bubbly.
Oh, yeah.
And it gets a little bit like, really? But it's still so well done. And the fact that it's all done in camera is amazing to me.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely amazing. Ugh. Okay. Anybody else want to say anything about American Werewolf in London? Other than the fact that it's
I can't talk about it because if I talk about it, I have to admit that I haven't seen it, and then Lenny will never speak to me again.
You're correct there.
Oh.
So that's out.
You're fired.
I'm sorry.
Go watch
Justin.
it right now. Well, not right now, but when we're
you
done.
know, in a little bit. In a little bit. Okay, so 1982, Poltergeist went, Poltergeist 0 for 3. It was nominated for Best Visual Effects, Best Sound Effects Editing, and Best Score. And it lost to a Spielberg movie.
Hey.
But it also lost to a space movie. Fucking E.T.
Hmm.
Come on, you can't hate on E.T.
I hate E.T.
I hate E.T.
I
God.
absolutely despise that movie.
Apparently you can hate on E.T.
Back to the river. Back to the river.
All right.
Oh my god. But yeah, again, Poltergeist was an incredible film and nominated for odd things. And once again, it comes back to, horror movies get nominated for weird things because I don't think the Academy knows quite how to deal with them properly.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks really cool, but it's really weird. How about best visual effects? Sure.
I watched that. I watched that actually within the last couple months. It's really scary too.
It is.
It's more so than I even remembered.
I think that one really holds up.
Yeah, it does. More than I expected it to. And again, that's another one where I felt that the family dynamic and the relationship dynamic was really well done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you really believed those two were parents and loved their children, loved each other. It was like, wow. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree.
This is Jocelyn. I just wanted to say that I think it's amazing that Poltergeist, I know that their ratings were different back in 1982, but based on the fact that I let my 7-year-old watch PG-13 movies, I'm stunned that Poltergeist is just PG.
I know.
Because it scared the ever-living shit out of me when I was 9.
It
And I
is
don't think
so
I've ever
scary.
even watched it since then, except in bits and pieces, because that was like my first really scary movie, and it was scary.
It is.
It
Yeah.
still
the
is.
guy peels his face off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was the maggots. I think the maggots
Oh,
honestly
yeah,
scared me
yeah.
more.
Oh.
And the clown and the tree and also too at that time when you're in elementary school and it's like, oh, there's a poltergeist curse, after Dominique Dunn was killed by her boyfriend and then the
Oh,
little
yeah,
blonde
oh my
girl
God.
died. And I mean, that stuff does, you start to like, ooh, this is weird,
Yeah.
But, Poltergeist also touched by the hands of Spielberg.
Yep.
Right.
I love that. It's going to be
You
Lenny's
can
response
still
to
like
everything.
it. You can still like it, Lenny.
I honestly, I have not seen that. I have not watched that movie since I was about 13 years old, I think, because of the clown. I hate that I can't watch it, but nope.
Okay, on to 1984 and our beloved Ghostbusters.
Too bad Jen's not here.
I know. It was nominated twice for Best Visual Effects, but it lost to Spielberg. And Best Song, which I think is hilarious.
It lost that too, though, didn't it?
It did. It lost to Stevie Wonder, and I can't be mad about that.
Oh my God.
Okay, 1985 was a bust for horror movies, but that's okay because in 1986, Sigourney Weaver got her Best Actress nomination for Aliens. Now, this is significant because finally it's been recognized by no less than the Academy that a woman can play a real role in an action horror film and not be weak and be command and be maternal and be fucking badass at it too. Unfortunately, she lost to Marlee Matlin, which I am mad about.
Oh, but you can't beat the Deaf Lady. I mean, that's just...
Handicap.
The
Yeah.
thing
You
is,
don't get an award for being handicapped.
Children of a Lesser God does not hold up. Like, it's one of those movies that you look back on now, and you can see why people were blown away by it then, but now it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I've never understood. Again, I get it's like nominating the children. Oh, we nominated a deaf lady. We're awesome and progressive. But it's the same thing with kids. Like, you kind of don't want them to win because you're
I
dooming
know.
them to
And then
fail.
you're stuck with Anna Paquin's entitled face forever. Fuck.
Ah!
Hate her.
Thank you. Is that unanimous? Yeah.
You know,
Ugh.
her teeth frustrate me. I don't know why.
That movie, anyway.
She's 75% of the reason that I can't watch True Blood. The other 25% is just a fucking stupid show. But anyway,
The first couple seasons weren't, and then it got fucking stupid.
I own the first 3-4 seasons, and then
too. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
And
Okay, so Aliens won for sound effects editing and visual effects and got consolidation nominations, or consolation. I can read my own writing. Consolation nominations for art direction, editing, sound, and score. So I think Alien paved the way for Aliens to be recognized as something interesting.
Yeah.
Because the Academy was ready for a fucked up alien creature thing that was mostly jaws and drool and shredded condoms and craziness. And they were ready for it this time, which is great.
I think I actually prefer Aliens to Alien.
Ditto.
Yeah. Anyway, they're both great, but...
it's more action.
You're allowed. It is more action, for sure.
Yeah.
So, The Fly also won for Best Makeup in 86, which is well-deserved.
Amazing.
That's a good one.
Poltergeist 2 and Little Shop of Horrors were also nominated for visual effects, but they lost out to Alien, so that's okay.
Poltergeist 2 should have been nominated for the scariest old man ever to exist in the world. Like...
The guy from Six Flags commercials?
Even scarier than that. Like, oh my god, how scary is that old man? Oh, God.
Oh, and Ultra Sadness, Little Shop of Horrors was nominated for Best Song and lost out to Top Gun.
Oh, that's a travesty.
Yeah, I'm getting tired of blowing raspberries at the nonsense. But, yeah, that's ridiculous.
Oh, my God. Okay, and I want to know what you guys think about this, but it's mentioned on this list, Fatal Attraction is listed.
Totally a horror movie.
It was nominated for Best Picture, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress, Director, Adapted Screenplay, and Editing. It didn't win any of them, but it's kind of interesting that it was nominated. So, thoughts on Fatal Attraction?
I'm pretty sure that most men think that it's quite a horror film.
I think if you have a villain who you think is dead, then they pop up for one last try, that automatically, like, makes it a horror movie, right?
She boiled a bunny, for Christ's sakes.
Yes.
Forget about what she did to Dan.
What about the bunny? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's always been interesting to me that got nominated.
Yeah.
Because the performances were great, and it was scary, but to me, it just was such a salacious, kind of borderline Lifetime kind of movie. You know, it's good, and the acting's great, but I never understood all the nominations for it. It seemed like if you can stretch your mind to nominate Fatal Attraction, there are a lot of other movies you should be paying attention to.
Yeah.
I think about that every year.
Especially since the 80s were so crazy with movies. Like, there was just a glut of movies in the late 80s. So it's odd that was one that was picked.
But it had two big name stars in it. So.
Yes,
right.
Very true. One of my personal favorites, which they're calling a light horror flick, Witches of Eastwick, got nominations for Best Sound and Best Score, which they didn't win. But I still think it's awesome.
That's a great movie.
It is! And you know what? I find it really it grossed me the fuck out, the whole cherry pit thing.
The cherries, yeah.
It still makes me go, ugh, and I still hate that actress because she still makes me think of cherries and just bleh.
Is it Veronica Cartwright? I think I picked her for something that we did.
I think you did.
Yeah, you
Is that
picked her for favorite veteran horror actor.
Yeah. I'm sticking with that. 'Cause that I can picture that very clearly in my head, and it was scary and disgusting.
Anytime anyone offers me cherries, I'm like, no, thanks.
That's right.
I'm cool.
Sign of a good movie. It's like Secret Window, turn me off to corn forever.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm sorry, did you say corn or porn?
Corn?
Now, what would you have to watch to be turned off of porn? Perhaps that's a question for another podcast.
Fair enough.
And it's also worth mentioning that Predator was nominated for Best Effects. It lost to Inner Space, but that's okay. I'm stoked that it was nominated because the movie was fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Get to the chopper!
Get to the chopper! It was fucking ridiculous. And I don't know if you guys saw the live tweet that I did with Jen, but holy fuck. I think that was the most fun I've had on a live tweet just because we were talking and yelling at the TV at the same time we were tweeting and trying to get that perfect pause to get that perfect Schwarzenegger face. Fuck. Fuck, it's just full of amazingness. I also am a really weird pervert and I find the Predator really fucking sexy. So.
With the dreadlock.
Ugh. It's the dreadlocks and the mesh and the, I don't know. I can't talk about it.
I think you're alone there on that one.
Yeah.
At least with this crew.
That's fine.
Yeah, I can't.
More
will
Predator
admit
for
I'm
me.
not into Disney characters, but you will not get me to admit anything about Predator.
That's fine. It's more for me. It's alright.
Kat, you have Predator and I have Swamp Thing.
Oh, I'm with you on Triangle Head from Silent Hill. So.
Oh, I know. Pyramid Head's a whole different ball of wax. He can rip my skin off any day. Anyway.
The double heading.
Oh, yeah. 1988. The visual effects from Beetlejuice were nominated. Didn't win, but Beetlejuice is a adorable movie that deserved to be nominated just for the mere fact that it was nice to know that people noticed that there was crazy shit going on in that movie. That was worth noticing. The makeup effects were incredible. The visual quality of the film itself was incredible. The colors are beautiful. Everything is amazing about it.
The receptionist in the underworld scene.
Miss Argentina!
Love her. Like, one of my favorite makeups to this day. I think
love her.
It's just gorgeous. And that scene alone, I think, was such an achievement because there's so many little things going on.
Oh, I know. The guy with the shark on his leg, I fucking love that.
Yep. I mean, it's so beautifully done that I think that's really the height of Tim Burton's makeup achievement. I don't think he could ever get any better than that in his films.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, he didn't do the makeup, but
well, no.
Just in terms of the ideas, you know,
visually, yeah,
it's stunning, and it holds up so well.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so 1990, we have one of my favorites, Miss Kathy Bates. One was nominated for and won her Best Actress for Misery.
Yay. Much deserved.
Well deserved, absolutely. Yeah. And they've also got Ghost listed here. Is this a horror flick?
No.
I can't bring myself to watch it because Patrick Swayze. But it won for Best Supporting Actress and Original Screenplay. It was nominated for Best Picture, Best Editing, Best Score. Like, what?
All beautiful things. The score in that movie is fantastic. And you know what? I could see how it's considered horror because you have those ghostly death creatures. And then the scene where Tony Goldwyn with the glass. I mean, there's some gory shit going on in that movie. And my parents took me to see that movie when it came out. I was 7. It was 90, right?
Yeah, 1990.
Yeah, I was 7.
That just sounds like somebody couldn't get a sitter that night.
Any movie with Patrick Swayze, and I saw it. Like I was and am obsessed with him, and it did frighten me. But again, 7 now, probably it doesn't scare me. I can't watch it now because I can't deal. I cry immediately when I see his face. Yeah,
that's pretty hardcore.
I'll stop.
I was in the hospital when I was 4 with posters of Patrick Swayze on my hospital room walls. 4. So my love for him is real and it's deep.
Stay gold, pony boy. I know you say that, but I mean, you know.
Yeah, I can see how elements of Ghost could be considered horror. There are definitely things in there that are frightening and intense. So I think that's valid.
All right.
It's too schmaltzy for me.
I know. All right. Yeah, me too. Like I got partway through it and I was like, no.
You know something that didn't occur to me until I was an adult? all those romantic scenes between him and between Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze, where they're dancing together. That was actually, if you play by the rules of real life, that was Whoopi Goldberg she was getting romantic with. He was existing through her form.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Just because we as an audience see Patrick Swayze, that's not what she would have been seeing.
Right.
Not a well thought out plot there.
No, not really.
Because I don't know about you, but I have no interest in getting.
I'm sure no one's making that ew factor connection
with Whoopi.
Yeah, not interested.
No making Whoopi with Whoopi. Okay.
No.
All right, so 1991 is kind of a big deal, mostly because one of my ultra favorite movies, which is also a true crime movie, which is also fucking amazing, Silence of the Lambs.
Yay!
Did something that only 2 films had done before, which is sweep all the big awards. It won for Best Picture, Best Director, Actor, Actress, and Screenplay. It was nominated for Best Sound, of course, because it's a horror movie. Lost to Terminator 2, which is also a horror movie in my opinion.
P1000.
There you go. Nominated for Best Editing, lost out to JFK. And Cape Fear was also nominated for Best Actor for Robert De Niro, actress for Juliette Lewis. And The Addams Family got a nomination for costume design, which makes me really happy.
So well deserved,
in a perverted way. So, Silence of the Lambs. I want to talk about Silence of the Lambs for just a minute here. It's one of my favorite movies.
Mine too.
It's one of those ones that I could watch every week and still find something new to love about it.
Yeah.
Does anybody else want to say anything about Silence of the Lambs?
I agree with you completely.
Mm-hmm.
I like that response.
It's just there's I don't know, so many just little nuances of that film that are, I mean, like you were saying, you can watch it over and over again, you find something new, but the one scene that gets me every freaking time is like right before they drag her away when he's in the big cage and he touches her finger.
Ugh.
Oh, it kills me.
Yeah.
And I want to be Clarice. Sorry, I have a thing for Anthony Hopkins. I don't care if he's an old man.
It's okay, I have the same problem with Sean Connery. It's alright.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Sarandon.
yeah.
Just make that voice. That's wrong.
What's that?
Whoever made that noise is wrong.
Who did that?
That was me. I just don't like Sean Connery.
He's a wife beater, like an unabashed.
Yeah, he's just gross.
Yeah, I have issues with him.
You know what, ladies? I'll take James Bond any day. I don't.
You mean Roger Moore, I assume.
Ew, what? Ew.
Oh.
What about George Lazenby, you bitches?
No. Oh, my God. Oh, my
I
God.
like Australian Bond. Shut up.
Oh, my God. We're totally going to have a fist fight about this in Vegas.
I'm fine with that.
Wow.
I will defend him.
Wow.
He gets crapped on. It's totally not fair.
It's because he's awful.
He's not awful. He's awful.
Okay. 1992. Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Can I just go back 1 second?
Yes.
Just back to the Cape Fear thing?
Yes.
And that kind of pisses me off because the original film is so much better.
It is. It's better, but I like the remake. I thought, like, if you look at it on its own without comparing it to the original, it was some really scary shit. Like, Robert De Niro is terrifying, yes. Robert Mitchum.
I think it's a little over the top, and Juliette Lewis just grosses me out no matter what she's doing, so
Yeah,
I'm no fan.
Why was she nominated for that? What was there? There was nothing special about that performance.
No.
I don't get that at all.
Yeah, I think it was the same. Look at how progressive we are. We're going to nominate this borderline drugged out actress and show everyone how cool we are.
No.
That happens a lot. They try to cater to the younger people to get and watch the ceremony, and then I don't feel like it's always deserved. I just I don't hate her the way everyone else seems to, but I think she, like Keanu Reeves, has the understated acting style that can only be appreciated in certain roles.
That's such a nice way to put it.
I know, oh my god.
Yeah, it's an understated style of acting.
It's bad. It's just bad. It's not understated. It's just bad.
I won't bother defending Juliette Lewis because I really couldn't care one way or the other.
You're going to defend Keanu Reeves.
I will defend Keanu Reeves until my dying breath.
I love Keanu Reeves. I don't care that he sounds like a giant
Well, since
moron.
we're getting ready to talk about Dracula, I guess you can defend him for that performance, and I want to see you try to do
I can't. Okay, that's the only one I have to distance myself
Yeah,
from.
I can't defend
Okay,
him.
so Bram Stoker's Dracula in 1992 did pretty well. It won 3 awards for costume design, which, hello. Sound effects, editing, and makeup, of course. It lost for art direction, which is crazy. Death Becomes Her won for visual effects, and it beat out Alien 3 because somehow Alien 3 was nominated.
Might have
Death
been a
Becomes
visual
Her
effect
is
light.
hysterical.
Death Becomes Her is fucking amazing, and I love that movie.
Yeah,
That was a good one.
I love it so much. Okay, so Dracula. Okay, so it wasn't nominated for any acting, obviously.
Which is, that's a crock of crap right there.
Well, I mean, Anthony Hopkins was phenomenal. And Anthony Hopkins was phenomenal. And Gary Oldman was unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely
Gary
unbelievable.
Oldman was shit on by the Academy every year until recently.
Yeah.
I mean, his first nomination was just a couple of years ago, I think.
That's total bullshit.
It's
Yeah.
complete
he
and utter
still
bullshit.
hasn't won, right?
No, he's still not won an award.
Someday. But if you hang around long enough, sometimes they're forced to give it to you.
Well,
Yeah,
or
that's
you,
why-
or you get
that's
the...
Yeah, but the sad
Yeah.
thing is they sometimes wait until, it's like, oh, okay, well, he's been nominated 10 times. Let's just give him one, and it's not necessarily a really great performance.
Yeah.
It's like poor Susan Lucci, you know?
Yeah, right?
They did that with Scorsese, too, though. Like,
Always
Departed
the
was
bridesmaid.
not his best film by any means, but I think it was just like, whatever, just give him one.
It's Scorsese, let's just give him something.
Yeah.
He should get an Oscar just for his eyebrows. Because they are amazing.
Okay, so I have to say that
Defense of Keanu on Dracula.
I was just gonna say it's my least favorite performance from. Well, I honestly, I don't like Winona Ryder
Oh, God, no.
at all. Her S's bother me. I would like someone to teach her how to say her S's properly without
she should not-
whistling them.
I mean, aside from the people who actually are British in that film,
Oh God, she should not have even bothered.
her and Keanu, the both of them, come on.
I
There
know.
are plenty of pretty British actors out there. Well, maybe not plenty, but there are some. And there are even some American actresses who are pretty and can do a British accent.
Exactly.
But,
I don't think anything could ever be worse than her attempt at an accent in Age of Innocence.
yeah.
That was hilarious. Family Guy did a great skit about that. That would be most good, Newland. Most good. She's not even minimalist. She just is really hit and miss. Like Black Swan, phenomenal.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
great. Mermaids,
You know what?
awesome.
I even liked her in Girl Interrupted, but
That was Angelina Jolie's movie.
it was.
Like,
It totally was.
they didn't really need her.
No.
So on Dracula, I read a little bit on this. She was the one, Winona Ryder was actually the one that was responsible for bringing it to Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh, so they
So-
had to have her in it.
Apparently.
That rules.
And also, I think Keanu was cast. I don't think Francis Ford Coppola wanted him, but the decision was made because he was like the thing at the time
Yeah.
to bring in like the younger crowd and, eye candy.
Yeah,
So-
I would agree. Although,
That-
although break me off a piece of Quincy. Hello.
Yeah.
I'll take a Texan with a big knife, thank you. Okay, so moving on, 1993, Jurassic Park. Is Jurassic Park a horror movie? Is it a monster movie? What do you think?
Hold on to your butts. It's one of my favorite lines in any movie ever.
Okay, so
Samuel L. Jackson.
Jurassic Park won for best sound effects editing, and best visual effects. It beat out Nightmare Before Christmas, which is also a visual effects nominee, which is awesome that it was there. Addams Family Values nailed a nomination for art direction, which is brilliant because that was a beautiful movie, even though it was crazy. It lost out to Schindler's List, but of course it had to. So Jurassic Park. So best sound effects editing. I think I find this really cool just because back when this came out, I read a lot about Jurassic Park because I was super obsessed with dinosaurs when I was little, and I kind of still am. I, with all humility, admit that I am really awesome at the Jurassic Park game that's out right now. I'm really good at the dino battle. But I really love the sounds that they gave to the dinosaurs. Like,
Yes.
Knowing that the Tyrannosaurus roar is a mix of lions and dolphins and I think a flamingo or something else fucked up in there.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a lion and a dolphin and something else. But I thought that was pretty incredible. It's nice. It was really, really cool to see all these things I've been obsessed with since I was really young on screen. And plus it has Sam fucking Neill. So...
I was gonna say that. Damn it, you took my line. Sam fucking Neill.
Little fun fact: I actually touched the Triceratops. You know, the sick one,
Oh.
and I got yelled at for it at Universal.
You got yelled at Universal Studios.
Miss, please step behind the rope. Do not touch the dinosaur. But I did it anyway. That's how I roll.
Oh fuck!
I couldn't not touch it. It was literally a foot away from me. I couldn't not touch it.
I know. I would have done the same thing. Actually, I probably wouldn't have, but still.
It absolutely deserved that visual effects. And,
Oh God, yes.
there are some sequences in that are downright terrifying.
Oh fuck yeah!
That's a great movie.
Did anybody go see it in 3D when it was re-released?
No.
I did. I didn't. I mean, it's still a great movie, regardless. But you know, one of those movies that I think didn't actually need to be redone in 3D.
Yeah. I think that's why I didn't go.
Some of the sequences, you know, the stuff that was all done in CG looked really good. But the rest of this stuff, especially with, you know, the live action, the actors, it just kind of took away from it as far as I was concerned. It didn't do anything to even enhance it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Steven Spielberg's got a beach house to pay for, yo. You just helped him pay for his
He's
beach
probably
house.
paying Amy Irving spousal support.
See, that's what I always look for. Is like you can always tell when someone's gotten divorced or has a new child to pay for or whatever because of what movies are coming out. It's really
That's
funny.
Nick Cage's excuse.
I know! That was going to be my next point.
I'm in everything.
I think that's just because Disney owns his dick. I'm pretty sure that's the only reason.
After suffering through the Sorcerer's Apprentice, I can't say I disagree with you. Yowza.
Fuck. Okay, 1994. Now, this isn't a horror movie, but it deserves all of the credit anyway. Ed Wood. I fucking love this movie.
Me too. Favorite Tim Burton movie.
Yeah. So, Ed Wood won for Best Supporting Actor for Martin Landau, which is well-deserved. Absolutely, as elderly Bela Lugosi, which fucking broke my heart.
Yeah.
Best Makeup, Rick Baker, of course. Interview with the Vampire got 2 nominations for art direction and score, but didn't win either of those. And the makeup that I absolutely love, and I'm actually surprised that it didn't win, was the makeup for Kenneth Branagh's Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Did anybody else see that? Or am I the only
I don't
one?
think I've ever seen
No,
that.
I saw the movie several times. It's been years, though. Only one I remember is De Niro's makeup.
Yeah, I am so in love with Kenneth Branagh that it's actually sad.
He's an amazing director. I have constantly been blown away by his abilities as a director. Like his Thor was incredible. He's got such an eye for highlight, like even in a big spectacle like Thor, some of the little things that he did were just really brilliant. I think he's an amazing director.
Well, if you haven't seen Much Ado About Nothing, see Much Ado About Nothing and die a little bit inside, and then admit that Keanu Reeves can actually act when he has proper lines.
And when he is interested in what he's doing.
Well,
you can always tell, too, that if he's not into what he's doing, he just, like, they're the movies he makes for money, and then the ones he's actually good in.
Yes.
So,
very true.
I can make you a list of movies where Keanu Reeves is awesome.
Bill and Ted is on there, right?
Bill and Ted is like a 90s Keanu Reeves, like Parenthood and that Point Break, the movies where he was playing that surfer dude, Sona, and everything, which isn't to say that aren't all awesome movies.
Played the same character in Bill and Ted that he played in Parenthood, right? They're exactly the same.
They are. They're the exact same character, and I friggin' love him in Parenthood. I think he's adorable.
This is totally going to get to arm wrestle territory. I love it.
I think so.
Okay, so Ed Wood was the big horror winner, mostly because of the horror theme more than anything. So yeah, I'm quite happy that that's in there. 1995, the only nomination was for Seven, and it was only nominated for Best Editing, and it lost to Apollo 13.
Bullshit.
Ridiculous.
I know, right?
See what I'm
ridiculous.
saying? Historical epics. They cream their shorts over historical epics. But in a movie like Seven, that is so like every time you watch that movie, if you are not scared, you're insane.
It still fucks me up, and I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah,
the art direction in that movie was remarkable, and the fact that didn't get, it's ridiculous.
Everything in that movie was remarkable. That's definitely like in my top 5 of all time. I agree. It's just such a brilliant film.
Okay, so we're up to 1996. Ghost in the Darkness was nominated and won for sound effects editing. It was about a killer lion.
I'm hilarious.
And Val Kilmer.
Welcome to the horror show, Val Kilmer. Don't ever come back.
Starship Troopers in 1997 was nominated for best visual effects, but lost out to Titanic, for fuck's sake. I love the fact that Starship Troopers was even nominated, because what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's pretty much a win. Yeah.
I know.
Well, to me, that's like Bad Grandpa being nominated this year.
I know. Don't even talk to me about being nominated for... I can't even. I'm mad. Mad. Okay. 1999. This movie pisses everybody off. The Sixth Sense. I know. It got 6 nominations for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Supporting Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Original Screenplay, and Best Editing. But it didn't win any of them.
How stupid do you think the Academy feels now?
I know,
That's
right?
what I want to know.
Well, they didn't win anything, so it's okay.
Seriously, like,
listen,
that's not his Ramelan.
That's not his worst movie, though. It's not his worst movie.
No, it's not. It's totally not.
Worst movie.
I know, it's like the best of the worst movies. You know, when it came out, I was blown away when it came out. It blew my fucking mind. And I love Bruce Willis, and it was spectacular. And I was shocked at the twist, and everything was painful, and I cried for the kid like 5 times. It still makes me cry. But it's still a pile of shit. I don't feel so bad anymore. Sleepy Hollow got nominated for Best Cinematography, Best Costumes, and it won for Art Direction, which is completely well earned.
Yeah.
I love Sleepy Hollow.
So do I.
Not ashamed to admit.
No, it's fantastic.
You shouldn't be.
Yeah. And The Mummy, which I really love. I love the whole Mummy series, and I don't even care who knows it. I even like The Scorpion King, so everybody can just kiss my ass.
I love the first one. I think
The first one is great.
I also grew up, probably from the age of 12, having a major crush on Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So,
I'm glad to not be alone in this.
Who saw School Ties?
Oh, yeah.
Me? Everybody?
Everybody.
Come on. That's when it started.
Yeah.
Or actually, wait, what was first? Was it that or Encino Man?
Encino Man. Holy shit.
Yeah, I just went there.
I love With Honors, too, though. I mean, I think that movie's really underrated. Great movie. And I love Joe Pesci in dramatic roles. Can't help
He is
myself.
great. It's so funny how talking about movies turns into a tour through our ovaries. It's really funny.
I didn't say shit about being attracted to Joe Pesci.
Oh no, I didn't. I wasn't mentioning Joe Pesci. That kind of came a little late for the Joe Pesci part.
We're still women.
But anyway, I thought The Mummy was good.
I did too.
Really good humor.
So The Mummy was nominated for Best Sound, which was, good for them. They didn't win anything, but, it's nice to see something that's a little bit madcap, a little bit funny, but still historical and still kind of fucked up and creepy in ways. Like, I've been obsessed with ancient Egypt for a very, very long time. That's also why I have a degree in archaeology. But it was nice to see something like that, a remake of an original, really super scary movie, make good, even though it was kind of funny and campy at the same time.
Yeah. If I had to pick, if I was going with my ovaries for The Mummy, I would have gone for the guy who played the Mummy because I thought it was hot.
The second string dark man.
Hey now. Well, there's him, and then there's the leader of the Magi. Oh dear God!
Oh no, not him. No, the Mummy.
Oh no, I know. But there's him, and then the leader of the Magi, and it just makes me like I can't speak properly. Like, wow.
Yeah, he was hot.
He was hot,
and he was in Resident Evil too, and I was like, I love Resident Evil.
Also in Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo.
Yes, he was.
It's irrelevant why I know that.
Okay, boom! It's 2000. Whee! Most of the horror movies that were nominated this year were nominated for Best Makeup. So, Shadow of the Vampire was nominated.
Oh, awesome movie.
Hollow Man was nominated, and The Cell was nominated. This is all for Best Makeup.
All deserved.
Yeah, they were all nominated. Nobody won. Willem Dafoe was also nominated for Shadow of the Vampire, but he was incredible. In that role.
That movie was amazing. Like, ugh,
I know.
it.
I was so glad. You didn't even see how happy I was that I bought that at Son of Monsterpalooza. I was like, ah! I've been looking for it forever and haven't found it. So it's nice to finally own it again. Okay, so Shadow of the Vampire, Hollow Man. I know there's like a Kevin Bacon spaz, but
Hey! Now I'm gonna have to say, that he was always my jam. So just back off.
I
okay,
saw him speak at Dartmouth, and he is a hilarious, awesome guy. Like I love him. For me, the minute that rape scene, like I was done with Hollow Man. I've never seen it all the way through.
It's honestly, it's honestly really good, and I find it really, really creepy and fucked up. Because I mean, the original Invisible Man I thought was kind of hokey, and this takes the Invisible Man story to a whole nother level, and it makes it really, really scary. Like, because he does turn into a monster, and it's really fucked up. I quite enjoy it. And The Cell is one of my favorites. I did a review on it earlier last year.
That would be incredible.
I love The Cell. It's just so beautiful.
Anytime Parson Singh makes a movie, I feel like it should be nominated immediately for art direction, makeup.
Yes.
Like he's incredible. I never saw Mirror Mirror. I really don't know anything.
It's really cute. It's cute.
It's not that bad. Mirror Mirror. I mean, it's dumb. Don't get me wrong, but it's perfect. Like, if you're gonna watch something with your niece or whatever, there's enough to keep. I mean, theoretically, there's enough to keep them busy. And then you just watch the scenery and just watch he really does have a very distinct visual. Yeah. I just wish he did something more often,
See, The Fall was one of my favorite movies ever.
The Fall's amazing.
So overlooked by everyone when it came out. I have never understood, because everything about that movie is gorgeous. And even Immortals.
The Fall's great.
Oh, yeah. Immortals was so pretty. It was so stupid, but it was so pretty.
Yeah, exactly. And Henry Cavill.
Don't even get me started.
But I have never understood even now, like when you tell people, oh my God, have you seen The Fall? Like nobody knows what I'm talking about.
See,
and that really upsets me.
It's terrific.
Yeah. Like I want to bitch slap people and say, oh, I don't know what that is. Fuck you, watch it.
I'm so glad you can't reach me right now.
Oh, I know you haven't seen it.
I haven't. I'm sorry.
Maybe
I
I'll
haven't either.
watch it.
Watch it.
It's really beautiful.
And you need to watch it on Blu-ray.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Agreed.
And Kat, you would lose your shorts over this movie. I mean,
Okay.
it's
So touching and so beautiful, and that little girl.
Yep. I weep every time I watch that movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll be prepared for weeping and splooshing. That's That's good. I like that. I'm gonna have to use that in a review from now on. Okay, 2001. This isn't technically a horror movie, but if you have little monsters of your own, it does kind of work. Monsters, Inc. was nominated for Best Score, Best Sound Editing, won for Best Song, but lost Best Animated Feature to Shrek.
No.
But that's, I don't know. I don't know.
Disney should never lose to anyone.
No.
Pixar.
It was Pixar at the time. It's Disney's now. Disney owns it now, but Pixar is fucking brilliant anyway. But we're gonna have an entire podcast dedicated to raising proper monsters. So
Yay!
I think this is something we should definitely talk about.
Yeah.
Do you actually have to have monsters in order to be on that podcast?
No,
No,
not at
definitely
all.
not. Definitely not.
Yeah, a
'Cause, I
lot
mean-
of us would be left out.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Some of us are allergic to that.
Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
I love
Okay.
my dog.
I love my cat.
You know, we have nieces and nephews and other children that we come in contact
exactly.
with, so, you know, it all works.
And I have a great story about my nephew in horror movies, so.
Excellent. 2004, Phantom of the Opera. Now,
Is that the
terrible.
Gerard Butler one?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I love
Oh.
Gerard Butler more than many things in life, but not as much as Star Wars. And so Phantom of the Opera, it pissed me off in a lot of ways, but the Academy really liked it, I guess. It had 3 nominations, didn't win anything, but that's okay. The Village, which I think is the worst Shyamalan movie ever,
God, it's so terrible.
got a nomination for Best Score because nothing
It's
else
worse
about
than the
it.
one with the trees.
Oh.
No.
The Happening is a brilliant comedy. And if you watch it,
Unintentional comedy.
it's amazing. I own it because it is so much fun to watch and laugh your ass off at.
Oh my!
Like it's amazing for that purpose. If you watch it thinking it's a comedy, the only good movie Shyamalan Ding Dong has ever made is Unbreakable.
I think
Every other movie
Oh no, Unbreakable is amazing.
Oh, Unbreakable's so great. I forgot about that. Now
I
wanna
think
watch
if you
that
watch The Happening and try and figure out what Mark Wahlberg is smelling in each scene, it works.
I just like dead-eyed Zooey Deschanel.
I don't
She
want to
could not
be here.
care less about that movie.
Well, that was pretty telling.
Fuck yeah, totally. Okay, 2005, Peter Jackson's King Kong remake won for Best Sound Mixing, Best Sound Editing, and Visual Effects. It was nominated for Art Direction as well, but didn't win. I thought King Kong, the remake, was quite meh.
I hated it. Anything with Jack Black and right away I'm annoyed. And I don't care if Adrian Brody's in it. I hated it. So boring.
Oh my gosh, Jack Black. That's funny. I remember. Wait, so can I just side note real quick here on Jack Black? It's not related to horror at all, but let me just say this. So my husband and I took our son to see what it was the one Gulliver's Travels, right? And we're walking out of it, and it was generic and it was fine. And he was Jack Black, and we're walking out of it, and a kid ahead of us says to his dad, "Jack Black is the best actor ever." The dad says to the kid, "I don't know about that, but he's sure got a lot of energy."
That is such a dad thing to say.
I died for like an
Wow.
hour laughing. It was just so perfect.
That's amazing. It's like she's got a nice personality.
He's got a lot of energy, kid.
Yeah,
Wow.
King Kong and Jack Black is just like Val Kilmer. Welcome to the award show. Now never come back.
Exactly. Please never step on our carpet ever again.
You snuck in this time.
Never again.
Yeah, they should have a sign outside, no Jack Blacks allowed. Like Snoopy. Just stay away.
It's right next to the sign that says, like, no 50 Cent allowed or anything like that.
No Val Kilmer, no Kanye West.
No.
I'll stay home.
So Corpse Bride was nominated for its animation, which I love Corpse Bride. Corpse Bride makes me all squishy. But it lost to a film that I actually really enjoy. Anyway, it lost to Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. If you have not seen Wallace and Gromit, if you don't know what Wallace and Gromit is, I don't know if we can be friends.
My GPS talks to me as Wallace. Like
I know what they are, but I haven't seen that.
It's so cute! Oh, fuck. Oh, it's so cute. Okay, 2006, Pan's Labyrinth was nominated for Best Original Screenplay. It lost to Little Miss Sunshine.
Aye.
But I believe it won for Best Score and Best Foreign Feature, and also won Best Cinematography, Art Direction, and Makeup. All extremely well-deserved.
Oh, yeah.
That movie just rips my heart out.
It breaks me every single time. I don't know. And having met Doug Jones and having spoken to him, he breaks my heart every single time.
He's such a sweet man.
Oh, he's so beautiful. Oh, my God.
I'm so excited to meet him.
I know! Oh, my God. Okay, we're all going to meet him at Crypticon, and we're all going to cry. At least I'm going to cry.
Also, the stepfather, like, he's one of the scariest motherfuckers I've ever seen.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
And he's the perfect person to really exemplify what Franco's regime was all about. And how brutal that war was. And knowing the historical background of it just makes it all the more shivery and gross.
Yeah.
It's utterly fantastic. I loved it. And I love that it was all in Spanish. I love foreign films.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I don't think if it was in English, I don't think it would have been nominated for a Best Picture award. But because it's a foreign film, I think it kind of sealed
like
itself.
bonus prestige.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it was just far and away the best film out there at the time, but also happened to be foreign language, which alienates it a little bit from everything else that's going on that the Academy's looking at, but also puts it leaps and bounds ahead of everything else that's nominated in that category. And it was all filmed in Spain.
Yeah.
All Spanish cast, all Spanish everything. Just amazing.
I love Del Toro's most of it anyway. I mean, some of the stuff that's come out lately has been a little crappy, but...
But
I love the shit out of Hellboy.
In general, anything that he touches is absolutely spectacular.
It's going to be.
I'm very excited for the Strain when that comes out.
Yeah, that should be interesting. Yeah, I read all three. Did you? I'm assuming you did too.
I did. They were great.
Yeah, that should be interesting.
So also in 2006, Monster House. I don't know if you guys have seen Monster House.
Yes.
It's so adorable. It was nominated for Best Animated Feature. So, hooray for our little horror buddies. I thought it was a really, really cute movie. And it was also really touching, as well as being a little bit super scary. Okay, 2007, Sweeney Todd was nominated for Best Actor, Best Art Direction, and Costume Design. Now, I actually don't have notes as to whether they won any of that or not, but I'm pretty sure they didn't.
Definitely didn't win Best Actor.
No.
I'm so, because I love Sweeney Todd, but I did not understand Johnny Depp getting a nomination. It just...
Me either.
I think it was just because he sang and no one's ever heard him sing before, so everybody was all, oh boy!
Well, it's like, I think that's going to happen. Did that happen with Les Miserables last year?
Don't get me started.
Exactly. So it was one of those things that's like, oh my god, you sang.
Mention about that too, because when you brought up Phantom of the Opera before, and I love the actual musical.
Yes.
Okay. I've seen it several times, and it's just beautiful and heartbreaking. And then when you try to take something like that and put it on screen, it is the same thing with Les Miserables, because I love that one too. And then I finally got around to watching it last year, And I was just so underwhelmed by the whole thing. It's like, why do you have to make the actors sing? Just let them act. They don't need to sing. If they want to sing for Broadway, that's what Broadway's for.
Yeah, exactly.
I loathed it. And Tom Hooper has this thing about close-ups, so the entire goddamn movie was up Hugh Jackman's nose.
Okay, we're not talking about Les Miserables. We're not talking about Les Miserables.
I do not need to see his nasal cavities while he's singing. Like, I don't understand Tom. It's like he was trying to prove that they were singing for real. Like, we get it. They're all singing. Okay. Please get the close up.
Somebody, please make sure that Russell Crowe never sings.
I think it's been a general memo that's gone out to all of Hollywood. Why is my husband calling me? I
have all of Russell Crowe's albums with his band. He's not a bad singer when he's not trying to sing opera.
It's probably when he's drunk, which is when we're all the best singers we can be.
Entirely possible, but yeah, for me, Les Mis was a huge disappointment.
But we're not talking about Les Mis. We're moving on. 2008, Hellboy 2, which I thought was fucking spectacular, was nominated for Best Makeup, but lost out to Benjamin Button because they made people old.
Whoop-de-doo.
Fuck you.
Benjamin Button didn't have monsters.
Exactly. And Hellboy 2's makeup was fucking phenomenal. Yes, absolutely phenomenal.
Okay, don't they say, and you would know better, that, like, old age is the hardest?
It's very hard to make it believable.
And
it's hard to do it well. And so, obviously, kudos for that. There's also a lot of CGI that went into that makeup.
Yeah.
But yes, old age makeup is extremely difficult, especially the delicate latex aging stuff. Yeah. It's really hard. And it's really hard to make it look good and not look patchy and like there's spots where it doesn't overlap and it looks like crap and stuff starts peeling up and you have to reapply it as you're shooting. It's not like a makeup that lasts for 6 hours and it's totally fine. You might be good for 2 hours. You know, because it's moving people's faces that aren't actually in that configuration into something different with only a thin layer of product. So I totally get why they won, but I still think it's stupid.
But that was my problem with them winning, though, is how much of it was CGI.
Exactly, you can't tell.
When you have something that's so practical, like the Golden Army, up against something that's mostly computer generated, I don't understand that.
Exactly. So, shmeh. And I mean, Hellboy 2, and Hellboy in general, any movies that have, and I hate to call them creature performers, but any movies that have creature performers who are in these huge suits and are in hours and hours of makeup, I mean, how do you deny that that's actually not worth the award? I don't know. Okay, 2009, District 9, which the person that made the original list that I adapted from didn't think that District 9 was a horror film, which I think is completely wrong.
It totally is.
It completely is. It's also a blasty social commentary. And it's beautifully shot. It's absolutely heartbreaking, which I loved. And yeah, it was nominated in 2009. I don't think it won, but it
didn't.
But it was
That
nominated.
Was the first year of the expanded, the 10 category.
Okay.
Pictures.
I have to say, I actually saw this in Vegas for whatever reason at a movie theater, and coming out of it, I swear it wasn't the liquor, but I have never had a physical reaction to a film that I got from that. Mm-hmm. I felt dirty.
Yep.
I felt sad. I can't even explain it. I've never felt like that.
I totally agree. I honestly felt physically ill. I was crying. Yeah. My husband's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, don't touch me."
Yeah, I was ill.
I had that similar reaction to Seven.
Oh,
when I saw that.
Me too.
A physical, like at the very end of it, walking out of it, like trying to decide whether I wanted to throw up or I wanted to cry.
Yeah,
I did cry after we saw Seven because it just seemed so way too believable and way too. You know, it was like, you guys know this about me, but I don't get so scared by the vampires and the werewolves and all that. It's more just the horrible shit that people do to each other, and Seven was a good example of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so that brings us up to 2011. Does it? No, it doesn't. 2010. Black Swan. So Black Swan is one of those funny movies that wasn't billed as a horror film. It was billed as a psychological thriller, a supernatural thriller, but it's a fucking horror movie.
Totally.
Oh, yeah, it is.
And
yeah.
has everybody seen it, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Watch Natalie Portman in anything is horrifying.
When I watch Black Swan, to me, it's a body horror film.
It is, absolutely.
Like, things that she's doing, the scenes where she's peeling the skin off her finger, I swear, I have never squirmed as much in a movie
it totally got me
as
too.
I did in Black
yeah!
Swan. Like, it just, it unnerved me. Everything about it. There is anyone that doesn't say that's a horror film is not really paying attention to it.
Yeah.
Because it is absolutely horrifying. Like, it's psychological horror, but I think it's just as easily body horror.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh,
I agree, absolutely.
And that's what Darren Aronofsky does. I mean, Requiem for a Dream, these are movies that they may not be traditional horror films, but good God, like, they will haunt you. There is no question.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
It was standing room only on the red
Whoa,
carpet.
whoa.
Night in Hollywood.
Fuck off! Wow. Okay. You can tell what website I've got open. So I'm looking at 2012 now, and I'm just kind of going through the list. How does everybody feel about the girl with the dragon tattoo?
Hated it.
But does it count as something that could be considered a horror movie, or is it? I mean, it's kind of true crimey. It's very detective-y. It's very dark for sure.
It's dark. I don't know that I would consider it a horror film. But
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Good. I'm just picking shit up as I'm scrolling through here. What did I want to talk about? Oh yeah. Also in 2010, Rick Baker was won for his makeup work on The Wolfman. Because it's Rick Baker. But it's Rick Baker. It's Rick Baker.
The makeup in that was good, but I couldn't even focus on the makeup because I was so dreadfully bored. I put that movie on, and I think I paid attention for an hour. And I'm like, okay, it's got to be almost over. And then I looked, and it had another hour left. I can't do this. I thought
No.
And that's bad when you just want to get up and leave or take a nap because
I
really was just awful.
Wolfman should not be boring, and it was boring. And Benicio del Toro, again, understated acting style.
I like him.
Yeah. Not in that, though.
No.
Like, in The Usual Suspects and Sin City, like, even Traffic, great performances, but not in that. It was like he was asleep. He was as asleep as I felt.
That's always good for a wolf.
Yeah, no kidding. I think it was one of those things. Is like Rick Baker. Hey, you do werewolf stuff really well. Let's nominate you.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is sad. But that's
I haven't actually seen that one because I've heard it was so shitty.
Just terrible.
It is not worth sitting through. You will feel like you have wasted hours of your life.
Yeah, I don't got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that shit.
Ain't nobody got
And
time.
then you'll hate yourself for putting yourself through it.
Yeah, like it's when you go, like, I've made mistakes where I tell myself that I'm going to go sit through a movie, even though I know it's horrible. Like, I saw Beastly because Neil Patrick Harris was in it. I swore after that I will never again see a movie just because an actor's in it. That's Robert Downey Jr., and then I will. But otherwise,
That's different.
like, if you know a movie's torturous, there's no reason to put yourself through it.
Unless you're live tweeting it.
That's different.
That's different.
That's totally different. That's suffering for the cause.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so last year, now this is, I think, the first year that I actually didn't watch the Oscars, but it's because we don't have cable and I didn't give enough of a fuck. Prometheus was nominated for visual effects, which is totally reasonable. Didn't win, obviously. Life of P won, which is really sad because they don't have a visual effects department anymore. It's such a fucking bum rap. Makeup and hairstyling. Hitchcock was nominated for makeup and hairstyling, mostly because they made Anthony Hopkins fat.
Yeah, that movie was weak.
I really liked it, but I
Yeah.
also really hated it at the same time, and I don't like that it was nominated. And you know what? The Makeup Artist magazines that I'm subscribed to made a super big deal about it, and it's like, you just put him in a fat suit.
Yeah, the HBO movie, The Girl, that was actually better than Hitchcock with Toby, English guy.
What is his name? Toby Jones?
Toby Jones, yeah. He was Hitchcock, and Sienna Miller was in it. I mean, it was
Mhm.
way
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Scarlett Johansson just makes me want to kill things. I don't know.
She bugs.
She does. I don't know what it is. It just,
I was just saying that a couple days ago, actually. She bugs.
yeah, no, I totally agree. And for animated feature film, this is where actually some really cute stuff was in. Frankenweenie and Paranorman were both nominated for Best Animated Feature. They lost to a Disney movie, but you know what? Fuck it, they were there.
So Frankenweenie was a Disney movie too.
Yeah, but it lost out to Brave, so...
Which is actually not that good.
Of course it's not.
Frankenweenie was way better than Brave.
Frankenweenie was fucking
really
adorable. And Paranorman was amazing.
I love
It was
Paranorman.
really good.
Loved Paranorman. So good.
They are both far superior films to Brave. I think Brave is one of the worst movies they put out in a while.
It's so bad. Since I've been home and, like, not doing anything, I've been watching Disney movies and horror movies, so my Netflix is full of, like, you might want to watch Disney, or you might want to watch Jason. So, which is really funny and sad and kind of awesome at the same time. But, rewatching old Disney movies, holy shit, some of these things are scary.
Yeah.
And just awful and racist and just bad towards animals, and there's animal abuse, and Dumbo makes me just...
I own Dumbo, but I can't watch it.
I can't watch it. I got through 5 minutes and I was
Dumbo's
like,
the
I
worst.
can't do it. I can't do
Dumbo's
it.
worse than Bambi.
Oh, God.
Yeah, the baby mine scene where she's singing to me, that's
I
hard.
can't do it.
Like, way to make children weep, Disney.
Exactly. We're
On
going to
your
make
knees.
adults weep. Fuck kids. Like, seriously, what about my needs?
Also true.
Okay, so we are up to 2014. So, stuff that's nominated that is actually stuff that we might give a shit about, not much. Gravity is nominated pretty much everywhere. Which is...
Gravity and 12 Years a Slave, again, people would argue with me on this point. I think 12 Years a Slave is a unconventional horror film.
You know what? Real life is real horror, and that is some real fucked up shit.
That movie,
12 Years a Slave makes me embarrassed to be a person.
Yep.
So.
I wept my way through that movie. Like, you watch it and you can't not be moved, but some of the things that happen are shit you see in torture movies. I mean, it's insane and horrifying and really upsetting. So I think it's totally valid as a horror movie because it is horrifying.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the things that people do to each other are just... They're fucking awful. They're fucking terrifying. And putting it to celluloid is even, like, just confirms that.
Exactly.
It's awful. So, the ones that are categories that I guess we would be interested in. I mean, Gravity, of course I bring up Gravity because it's sci-fi. And, I always find the whole death in space thing really fucking terrifying. Like, I don't want any part of that fuckery.
Did you see it?
I have not seen Gravity because I don't like this. Like, no.
Yeah.
No, that breathing for 5 minutes? No.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
It's a little paralyzing.
It's awful. No,
When
thank
you have, like, suffocation fear, and I mean, no one wants to suffocate, I don't think.
No.
But, I mean, when you have, like, a genuine fear, like, that would be my ultimate worst way to die, would be suffocation in any way. Suffocation, drowning, something like that, where I can't breathe.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I feel
would rather
exactly
be
the same.
shot in the face.
I
Seriously.
think everybody would rather be shot in the face than suffocate.
Yeah, if you gotta pick a way to go, yeah.
So,
But that movie, like in the beginning when she first kind of gets separated, and it's just so quiet, and all you hear is her breathing, and you feel like you're starting to hold your breath, and yeah.
See, that was the first no for me. That was that no feeling right there.
you have to watch it, Kat.
I know, I don't want to.
So what I was referring to earlier was actually this film. Somebody made this comparison. I don't know who it was, but they basically said that gravity is to space what Jaws was to the water.
Oh, I can totally see that.
And it's completely true.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
I had no interest in going into space before that.
No.
Did
No.
not
A little less accessible than the ocean, but still.
Like I've seen what happens, well, in movies at least, to people. Like, you don't, when you're exposed to space, it's, yeah. Like, actually, I think letting my geek show, Battlestar Galactica is totally what turned me off to the idea of space. And then Gravity just made it that much more intense. Like, nothing that happens in that movie seems appealing in any way.
Yeah.
This is such a rough year in terms of the Oscars, because it feels like the Best Picture race is split evenly between Gravity and 12 Years a Slave. And in that case, either way, I don't care which one wins, because they're both completely deserved. But every other movie that's high up in the ranks of possibilities of winning, I hated. So
now, Prisoners is nominated, and you reviewed Prisoners earlier a few months ago.
Prisoners is only nominated for one thing, though, right?
I know.
What's it nominated for?
It's nominated for like sound or editing or some shit.
Yeah, it got totally shut out, and I know why, but I'm still really disappointed, because when you compare Prisoners against The Wolf of Wall Street and American Hustle,
it's nominated for cinematography. Pardon me.
Yeah, that's totally valid, and I'm glad it has that nomination. But when you have two movies like American Hustle and Wolf of Wall Street that I despise, and there are enough people I know out there that didn't like either one of them, it amazes me how much Prisoners got overshadowed. And it's also because it came out too early. Like, it was in, I want to say, September.
Yeah,
and then
I
you
think
have this.
The Academy always focuses on stuff that's fresh.
Right.
Because it's what they've just seen, so.
It's an absolute travesty, because, like, again, Inside Llewyn Davis, great movie, great direction, great performances, didn't even get a nomination in the song category. And they had a huge to-do with the song category this year, because they had to withdraw one nomination. So it's just shocking to me that such fantastic movies got overshadowed for movies that I found to be horrendous.
Well, I mean, you have to look at the fact that something like Wolf of Wall Street, it really perpetuates the status quo as far as capitalist society is concerned. Wolf of Wall Street is an amazing picture about amazing people doing amazing things, and look how awesome they are. Aren't these badass guys? What?
It's about coke addiction, hookers, and using the word fuck more times than any other movie in history.
Now, having worked in the finance industry, I can safely say that these motherfuckers do exist. And they are the reason why I will never work in the finance industry ever again.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Real life is real horror, people. Just...
Yeah. I guess that makes for horror.
Wolf of Wall Street, to me, glamorized it.
Exactly.
It didn't at all make it...
I haven't seen it, but yeah, that's the argument I've heard from a lot of people.
Like, not once do you ever see the face of anybody that he stole from. They're all disembodied voices on a phone, and then you spend almost 3 hours watching them fuck hookers and do blow.
Yeah.
I have no patience for that.
Honestly, that is the real life of a high-end broker. They almost never see their clients. I mean, this obviously isn't every broker, but you know, this is real life for them. They hardly ever see their clients. They get invisible money for doing nothing. And I think that's why I hate finance so much. It's all based on invisible money, and it's bullshit. Ugh.
That's what this was. I mean, there was literally no money. I mean, until they started stealing.
It's not even a thing. Like, this money it's all invisible and gross.
Hypothetical money.
It is, and I could totally rant about this for hours. But
that's what's just disappointing to me, is where you do have the status quo of, okay, Scorsese directed this movie. We don't care that it sucks. We're going to nominate it.
Yeah.
and American Hustle. Like, I like a lot of David O. Russell's movies. I really do. But this, I think, was one of his worst movies. And Jennifer Lawrence is great in it. I have no patience for Amy Adams, so that probably doesn't help my opinion. But in terms of that movie, I mean, Jennifer Lawrence definitely gave the better performance. But I found it utterly disappointing. I expected more from everyone in that cast, and it's just like, haha, look at how period we are. Look at all of our way out goofy 70s haircuts, and aren't we hilarious? And it's the same thing.
No one gets the 70s. Ta-da!
Yeah, totally is disembodied from the fact that they did awful, awful things to innocent people. And when you have a movie like 12 Years a Slave that's trying to make the point of, hey, look at all these awful things that were done to innocent people, I'm going to show them to you.
Yeah.
To me, that's way more effective than this nonsense. And if either one of those movies wins, I am going to be... I'm going to burn shit down. Like, you're going to hear about me burning things down because I will be so mad.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Stabbings on Wall Street.
Stabbings on Wall Street will commence.
Fuck Wall Street. I'm coming after David Russell and Martin Scorsese. Viable threat, people. Call the FBI.
You heard it here first, folks.
I didn't see
Honey
Wolf
went
of Wall
that.
Street, but I would be happy if I never saw Leonardo DiCaprio in another film.
In another movie,
Or anywhere, actually,
Yeah,
ever.
I don't get the big deal about him either. Like, everyone was getting all jiggity over Blood Diamond when he was in that. I thought that movie sucked and his accent was stupid. Like, totally unconvincing. The only time that I think I have been... Actually, no. I can't think of a single time I've been epically impressed by him.
Well, if you want epically impressed, then no.
Like, Romeo and Juliet was great, but that was, 15 years ago?
Yeah, and
Like,
it was
I don't
just
think
just a vehicle to make him hot. So
yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him in any, like, and then, of course, The Departed. Oh, it's so good. I love The Departed, but he was completely unneeded in that movie. Like,
Yeah, it was pretty vanilla.
yeah, like, I don't know. I don't understand the appeal. And then I see memes going out, like, if you think you're having a bad day, well, just remember this. Leonardo DiCaprio doesn't have an Oscar yet. That's my wire. Like, there's a reason he doesn't have an Oscar.
No, but he's got lots of Victoria's Secret model girlfriends, so...
You mean Victoria's Secret model beards?
I thought he was
Yeah, I said it. Her cat heard me.
I heard you.
Okay.
Shit.
I thought he was good in the recent Tarantino flick. What the hell is that called?
Django.
Django. I liked him in that. Because he was just...
I agree with you. I thought he was good in that.
Yeah.
He was good at, but well, see, I have the automatic bias against anything Tarantino
The
does.
automatic Tarantino gag reflex.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's what I'm going to call it from now on.
You're welcome.
Tarantino gag reflex.
Okay, so now that we've caught up to present, does anyone have any observations about horror movies and the Academy that they want to share? And whose phone is doing that?
Yeah, I hear it too. I don't.
Is that Jocelyn? I'm going to blame Jocelyn.
I'm on my computer, so not me.
Oh, I don't know. Well, let's stop now. Okay, so does anybody have any observations about the Academy and horror films? Do you think that... I don't even know if there's anything that came out recently that's even worthy of an Oscar nomination or even recognition. What do you guys think the Academy's looking for when it's looking for a horror film to nominate? I think that's maybe the bigger...
It's high art.
question.
I mean, when you have a movie like Black Swan, people don't, especially Academy types, the reason that it's being categorized differently is because they don't want to admit that they enjoyed a horror film. And I think there's that stigma, especially among the older voters. Like, I was thinking about Hellboy, and the reason that it probably lost is how many of the 70, 80, 90-year-old Academy members saw Hellboy.
Exactly.
You run into that problem, and I think that there is a stigma that's attached to them, but I think you have to stand out. And even when you stand out, I think a lot of the time they still get shit on. But I'm sitting here racking my brain for something besides Prisoners that I saw this year that I even think deserved a nomination, and I really can't think of anything.
No. I didn't see much this year.
Well, I think that Evil Dead could have gotten something for its makeup, just because the majority of it was practical. But
Yeah.
I mean,
But again, how many...
But again, how many of these guys have seen and would sit through it? So
But
Exactly.
I think the problem with something like Evil Dead is that it's overtly horror. When you look at
yes,
the stuff the stuff that does get nominated and the stuff that does win, there's so much gray area as to what it actually is. Well, is it true crime or is it a drama? And it's dark and it's scary, but they can kind of get past the whole. They can call it something else.
absolutely. I mean, Sounds of the
You
Lambs
can't
is a
call
great
Evil
example.
Dead anything other than what it is, which is a
Sure.
horror film.
That's very true. I mean, look at Sounds of the Lambs. I mean, is it true crime? Is it a drama? Is it a thriller? It really toes the line between those. And I mean, is that a new message for horror directors? Like, if you want to get recognized, stop being dickheads and start trying to appeal somewhere else? I don't know.
Well, a lot of the most popular horror directors right now are the kind of guys that would never deign to call their movie anything else but horror.
Exactly.
I'm sure you know who I'm talking about, right
Yes,
off the top
I
of my
do.
head.
Kick him in the dick.
Yep. Popped up right in the middle of the street. But at the same time, the horror movies that have been nominated have had that cross-genre appeal, and I think that's part of it. You have to be able to draw in the people that wouldn't normally go see a horror movie. And I hate to say trick, but a lot of the times that's what you have to do.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And I mean, I'm sure most horror directors would think of that as selling out. And I always wonder what they think. I'm going to ask Scott Derrickson that actually when we talk to him, how he feels about these cross-genre films and if he's, if it's staying true to yourself and making the movie you want to or trying to achieve something different.
I think he'll have a lot to say about that.
I hope so, actually.
Yeah. I see him talking, about a lot of classic stuff, and I'm interested to see what he says.
Mm-hmm.
There are actually two this year that were from 2013, I guess, that were on a lot of top lists that we just watched. One of those was Stoker.
Yes. I'm surprised that
which
didn't get any nominations.
The cinematography, it was absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was.
And so that's kind of...
I'm really surprised it didn't get in there for even costume, just because the Academy is all over period pieces as well. So...
and then the other one is, which I guess was a remake, I think, but I haven't seen the original, We Are What We Are.
Yeah, I saw the original. I didn't see the remake.
Yeah, see, I didn't like the original, so I've been dragging my feet.
It's very good.
I've heard that.
Yeah, it's very good. So I think those two are the best horror films that I've seen in a long time, to be honest.
Now to mention it, I am surprised that Stoker didn't get something, even the score was...
Yeah. Yes,
brilliant.
it was. Yeah.
I can see where it would be. I mean, I thought it was really stunning to look at too, and I agree with the story. But from a story perspective, it did 0 for me.
Yeah,
it really
yeah.
did. I wanted to love it so badly.
It did fall flat.
I just didn't.
I agree. There were a couple of changes that they could have made that would have made that movie really just phenomenal. But visually, mostly is what I'm talking about. And you're right,
yeah.
the music was gorgeous. But yeah. Anyway.
All right, ladies. Well, I think this is going to be our longest podcast ever. So I'm gonna actually wrap it up now because we had more to talk about than I thought we did, which is awesome. So thank you, ladies, for joining me. I want to thank our sponsors, Bee Nectar Meadery, and Scandal Brewing. You can find them on the Twitters at Bee Nectar and at Scandal Brewing. I would like to thank the ladies for joining me. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Does anybody want to do any shout-outs to anybody that you love in particular right now?
I am going to do a plea to E this year. This award season, don't do or say anything stupid that's going to piss me off.
Oh, God.
Because you really
Good luck with that.
ruined my experience, and I would like you to stop being dicks. You can hear that? Like, if Michael J. Fox's Parkinson's is not a fun fact.
Oh, my God, that's not a fun fact. Oh, my God, that was awful.
Oh, God.
Oh, that was
Things
awful.
like that in mind at the Oscars.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay?
I know Robert Redford's polio. Was it polio? Yeah.
Yeah. Robert Redford having polio as a child is a fun fact.
That's not a fun
So,
fact.
This is my plea to E. So,
Dear E, please stop being assholes. Okay, anybody else have anything they want to add?
I would like to do a shout out to my liver in approximately 2 weeks.
Woo!
Going to
Yes.
be reeling from over alcohol consumption in Vegas. So
good luck to Danika's liver.
Good luck, liver. We will miss you.
Yeah. Some of you bitches better be there with me.
I'm
Oh,
totally going to be
okay.
there, don't worry.
I'm really sad that I'm missing this now, but I don't have the time to take off from work, so I am.
Oh, Suzanne.
I know.
We're gonna
Dan's
miss you.
grown-up responsibilities.
I know, right? Okay, so we're going to go through and do, everyone can give out their Twitter link, so you can talk to us, all of us in general, at Horror Honeys, HORRORHONEYS. And Lenny?
I am at Linny Loohoo, LINNIELOOWHO.
Suzanne?
I am at SuzB04, SUZEBEE04.
Danica?
I am at Danica the Freaka, DANICA the FREAKA.
Jocelyn?
I am at JB Rivard, JBRIVARD.
Awesome. And you can find our podcast on Podomatic, you can find us on Stitcher, and you can find us on Radio Fubar. And that is at www.radiofubar.com. Our live show is on Sundays at 5 p.m. PST. And you can also catch us on the Wicked Radio Network. And we always like to shout out to Wicked Radio Network because we love you guys. So everybody, we're going to say goodbye now. Everybody ready? Bye-bye.
Bye.
I love to take my baby to a movie show, so I can try to smooch her while the lights are low. But she won't cuddle to a story of romance. There's only one way I've got a chance. It takes the Batman, Wolfman, Frankenstein, or Dracula